Hello everyone, myself Dr. Samir. Today we are going to discuss a paper recently published in JAMA this August, effect of intravenous fluid treatment with a balanced salt solution versus 0.9% saline solution on mortality in critically ill patients. The basics randomized clinical trial. So based upon two large unblinded study by Semler et al., one in emergency and one in non-emergency, balanced salt solution resulted in better outcome. This better outcome was attributed to minor changes in chloride levels that was seen on using balanced salt solution compared to the normal saline. So in this study, they decided to see the 90-day survival in critically ill patients comparing Plasmalate 148 versus the normal saline. So this study was conducted in 75 ICUs in Brazil. It was an investigator-initiated RCT. Ethical committee clearance was taken. So in this study, the effects of the fluid type was assessed, and also the comparison between different infusion speeds, that is 333 ml per hour and 919 ml per hour, was also studied. This is, however, a different paper. Here only we will study the effect of the fluid used. So coming to the inclusion criteria, patients were randomized if they were admitted to an ICU and needed at least one of the fluid expansion. The fluid to be given was on the discretion of treating physician, whether to be given or not, and what is to be given was obviously blinded. So whether the fluid is to be given was decided by the treating physician. The patient should not be expected to be discharged the next day after enrollment. They should meet at least one of the following criteria for AKI. Patient should be more than 65 years, MAP should be less than 65, or systolic less than 90, or vasopressor use at any dose. Patient could be having sepsis, suspected or confirmed infection plus acute organ dysfunction. Patient requiring mechanical ventilation, NIV or HFNC for at least 12 hours. Early signs of AKI, that is oliguria, urine output less than 0.5 ml per kg per hour for more than or equal to 3 hours, or serum creatinine level more than 1.2 for women and more than 1.4 for men. If the patient had liver cirrhosis or acute liver failure, they were also included. The exclusion criteria: if the patient was expected to require kidney replacement therapy within the 6 hours after admission, it was excluded. Patients with severe electrolyte disturbances like serum sodium level less than 120 or more than 160 were also excluded. Death imminent within the next 24 hours, brain death, receiving palliative or comfort care only, and previously enrolled in trial were excluded. Earlier serum potassium level of more than 5.5 was an exclusion criteria. However, during interim analysis, this was removed. So, an automated randomization system was used. Random permuted block sizes of 12, stratified by the center according to the fluid type and infusion speed. Block size was not disclosed to the research personnel. So the interventions, so there were identical 500 ml bags which are sponsored by Baxter, and triple blinding was done. Neither the patient nor the doctor nor the assessor could know which fluid was given. So fluid challenges whether to be given was on physician's discretion. Data collected was demographic, the baseline data, SOFA score, Apache 2 score, presence of AKI or not, need for organ support, fluid administered in first 24 hours after admission, SOFA values and lab values on day 1, 2, 3 and 7 were also recorded after randomization. So hospital outcomes including ICU and hospital length of stay and days not requiring mechanical ventilation were also taken into account. Need for RRT at 90 days was also recorded. Treatment related serious adverse events also were recorded. So the primary outcome studied was 90-day survival. Secondary outcomes were need for renal replacement therapy, AKI on day 3 and 7, SOFA score day 3 and 7, both the SOFA score as a whole and all the individual parameters of the SOFA score were also recorded and separately analyzed. Ventilator free days till day 28 was also taken into account. The tertiary outcomes, ICU and hospital mortality, ICU and hospital length of stay were recorded. So power and sample of the study, around 11,000 patients were needed. So considering 35% mortality in NS group, estimation within 90 days, so 89% power to detect hazard ratio for mortality of 0.9 or less, alpha level error 0.05. So this amounted to consider 11,000 patients for the study. There was the assumption that there is no interaction between both the treatment groups. So R software version 4.03 was used for statistics. Interim analysis was done when the study reached 25, 50 and 75% of the total cohort. The stopping rule of safety was P less than 0.001 for 90-day mortality. Missing data for primary, if there was any data missing, so patient suppose in mid term they dropped or there was loss of data, so 5 sets of multiple imputation depending on their current health status while they dropped out, when they went missing, their SOFA score on admission, their systolic BP, the diastolic BP, those were taken into account, and 5 sets of multiple imputation was done, and median of the imputed results was used for analysis. They were not excluded from the analysis. So post hoc sensitivity analysis were performed for the primary outcome, chloride levels at day 1, 2, 3 and 7. Post hoc sensitivity analysis for the primary, secondary and tertiary outcomes were also performed. TBI patients or traumatic brain injury patients were excluded. Now subgroup analysis was done in primary outcome with patients with sepsis or without sepsis, patients with KDIGO stage of less than 2 versus those with KDIGO stage of 2 or greater, surgical versus non-surgical patients with and without traumatic brain injury, Apache 2 score more or less than 25, patients who received more or less than 1 ml NH 24 hours prior randomization. Means those who received or did not receive prior randomization. Exploratory analysis was done in for treatment effect on the primary outcome according to baseline chloride levels, using Bayesian networks to evaluate the potential association between fluid type and key SOFA components at day 3 and 7. The treatment effect was also assessed on the composite outcome of mortality or use of RRT during hospital stay, taking mortality and RRT together. Composite outcome of death and the need for RRT in the hospital or the doubling of creatinine level were also taken. So coming to the results, so 11,052 patients were randomized. So balanced salt solution 2766 and 2756, those were the two volumes, 333 ml per hour and 999 ml per hour. 0.9% NS for our normal saline, 2772 patients and 2758 patients were randomized. So 139 did not receive as randomized, lack of consent, and 15 duplicated. 15 lost to 90-day follow-up in balanced salt solution, 10 lost to 90-day follow-up in normal saline solution. So finally for primary outcome analysis, 5,230 in the balanced salt solution and 5,290 in the normal saline group were taken. 12 censored at discharge date, 3 no follow-up or discharge information. So for this, and here this said in the NH group 3 and 7. So for this imputation was done, which I will say later. So 11,052 randomized between May 29, 2017 and March 2, 2020. 532 were excluded, 486 refused consent and 46 were duplicate. So finally 10,520 patients were there for the analysis. Follow-up was concluded on October 29, 2020. So baseline characteristics of the patients in ICU, we can see more or less similar in both the groups, both in BSS and normal saline group. The number of patients, age, sex, so missing patients, planned surgery, unplanned surgery, all the data were mostly similar. Illness severity or enrollment, Apache 2 score also similar. Median range was median value was about 12. SOFA score also, number of patients similar in both the groups. Median SOFA score was 4. KDIGO staging, number of missing patients similar and number of patients included similar. Sepsis also similar number of patients. Traumatic brain injury, number of patients with hypotension on admission, mechanical ventilation during admission, creatinine level during admission, all were mostly similar. Cirrhosis, heart failure, time from ICU admission to randomization was similar in both the groups. So coming to the baseline characteristics of patients, again here what we see is the balanced salt solution within 24 hours before enrollment. Okay, so around received NE was 2,500 patients in BSS group and saline group 2,561 patients received BSS before randomization and received more than 1 liter. Again, these all data are comparable. Volume of balanced salt solution administered within 24 hours before enrollment. This is the number of patients, those who received BSS 5212 and 5280. So saline also received 24 hours before, received NE was 1987, 1971, and received more than 1 liter was 935 in BSS group and 994 in the normal saline group. Volume of saline solution administered within 24 hours before enrollment. So as you see, total number of patients 5,212 patients received NS in the BSS group before enrollment and 5,280 received in NS group. So any fluid within the 24 hours before enrollment received more than 1000 ml. This is any fluid, both NS and BSS. So this is 2327 received more than 1000 ml in the BSS group, and 2427 received more than 1000 ml prior to randomization of both the fluids before in the normal saline group. So 48.4% of the patients were admitted to the ICU after elective surgery. So of the total patients that we studied, 48.4% were post-surgical. Majority were randomized during the first day in the ICU. 68% of all patients received a crystalloid fluid bolus before ICU admission. 45% received more than 1 liter. Now 60.6% had hypotension or vasopressor use, and 44.3% required mechanical ventilation at enrollment. Both groups received a median of 1.5 liter of fluid during the first day after enrollment. Accumulated median fluid administration during the first 3 days after enrollment was 4.1 liters. Median study fluid administered during the same period was 2.9 liters only. So this is the type of study fluid the patients received over the course of 7 days. So this light colored is the study fluid. Open crystalloids received means can be either of these BSS or NS open fluid. Other fluids like albumin were also used, or 3% NS or whatever, those were also used. So day 1 number of patients receiving balanced salt solution was 5132, day 2 4449, gradually decreased. So on day 7 only 1476 were receiving fluids, balanced salt solution, and the above data for saline solution. So primary outcome was calculated for all except 25 patients. Of those, as I said earlier, imputation for 10 patients was done. That is, their average score was taken and taken into analysis. So 1381 of the 5230 patients, that's 26.4% in the BSS group, they died, versus 1439 of 5290 patients, that is 27.2% assigned to the normal saline group. So this is the cumulative incidence of 90-day survival for a balanced salt solution versus normal saline. So the y-axis current cumulative mortality, the mortality gradually going high as the day progresses till 90 day. So percentage of like around 26-27% as we saw discussed earlier. So 90-day mortality was 26-27% both the groups. Secondary outcomes, 19 secondary outcomes were evaluated as I had said earlier. Only 2 out of the 19 were found to be statistically different between the two groups. So this is the primary outcome and secondary outcomes, an overall view. So more or less the p-value on the confidence interval, whatever we are taking, all are the 95% confidence interval, all they had no major significant difference between both the groups, except total SOFA score at day 7, which was in favor of balanced salt solution, and mechanical ventilation 3 days within 28 days, which was again in favor of the balanced salt solution. Tertiary outcomes, again there was no significant difference between both the groups. So subgroup analysis for primary outcome was done as I had said earlier. Again there was not any significant difference, statistically significant difference between both the groups, except in patients with traumatic brain injury. In traumatic brain injury, you can see it favored saline solution more, and there was during sepsis we can see there was some advantage for the balanced salt solution. However, it was not significant. So statistically significant interaction between presence of traumatic brain injury, fluid type, and anti-day mortality was seen. So this can be attributed to the use of hypotonic solution as BSS. That this could be attributed according to the authors. So exploratory analysis, there was no significant between group differences for the tertiary outcomes. Again, no difference, no statistically significant interaction between fluid type and the primary outcome according to the baseline chloride levels. So this is the serum chloride levels in both the groups. It was more or less similar. Means there was a difference, the statistically significant difference, but I will show it was not much. The values were pretty low. We can see the values saline solution and the balanced salt solution, the chloride levels, they are between 100 and 110, so of not much significance. So post hoc analysis, which I had said for the composite outcome, only patients with known data for primary outcome or did not receive any fluid before randomization, they also showed no significant difference. Also, no significant difference for the composite outcome of mortality and use of RRT was seen. So this is the chloride level, as I had said, between 0.9% NS and balanced salt solution. No doubt the chloride levels were higher in the saline group, but it was below 108. The range was also 105 to 108, so that is pretty insignificant. So it was seen that in the study, use of balanced salt solution did not change 90-day survival compared with saline solution. The SMART study, where balanced salt solution were associated with improvement in a composite outcome, MAKE 30, so major adverse kidney events at day 30, it was seen balanced salt solution had better outcome. However, here there was no significant difference found. Signal of possible harm for patients in BSS group with a traumatic brain injury had a worse neurological score at day 7, which was, I said, attributed to the low hypotonic solution given. So limitations of the study was that use of non-study fluids in both the groups are also present. Patient received prior fluids and quite good amount of prior fluids in the ER or the OR. So prior to randomization, they had received majority of the patients had received more than 1 liter fluid also, and it was not analyzed whether it was BSS or NS what they received. Then the number of planned surgical admissions, like 48% was post-surgical patients. So there was not much organ failure present. So post-surgical patient difficult to assess how the fluid could have affected. And we see that first day median was around 1.5 liter fluid received by both the groups. So that is very low amount of fluid as compared to other studies. So 1.5 liter was very less on day 1, and patients had received very lower amount of fluids over the course of hospital stay and during the length of stay in the first 7 days. So that maybe lesser amount of fluids could not have affected the your AKI or any other scores much. So the take-home message, mostly there are post-operative cases, so it is difficult to assess. It's the effect of fluids in ICUs for sepsis or for any other diseases. Then not much fluid was given, very low amount of fluid was given to compare any effect because of the fluid on the various parameters. So mostly doesn't change our practice. Those who are comfortable with NS may use NS. Those who are comfortable with balanced salt solution may use balanced salt solution as per this study. Thank you very much.